Hello, I'm sorry I'm making a video against some sort of cacophonous din. I'm in a little cafe area in Euston Station called the Station Signal Box. I don't understand why there's such an obsession with noise, but it's endless, as probably people already know. Now, the question that I wanted to ask was whether or not there is any evidence that Mr. Navalny was executed, and how this was probably done. So the Yamalonenets prison area announced Navalny's death yesterday, saying that he felt unwell after a walk and almost immediately lost consciousness. The emergency medical personnel confirmed the death of the convict. The cause of death is being established. Now, what's interesting is that the RT network claimed that he died of a detached blood clot. And Navalny's wife said that she didn't even know whether he was dead. And under the Russian law, the relatives are supposed to be told within 24 hours. So even now, it's a bit late that she still hasn't been officially informed. And to have that precise medical diagnosis would involve, I imagine, some sort of autopsy. So that would have been done very, very quickly if that's the case. I don't think it has been done. I think this is the state media leaping to a conclusion which they've been provided by the security services. So that suggests strongly, more than anything else, that Mr. Navalny's death was suspicious, that Mr. Navalny's death was an execution. And the timing strongly suggests that it was a response to the Tucker Carlson interview. Now, the next question is what impact is this going to have? So the body would normally be returned to the family within a few days. It would be sent to a civilian mortuary where it could be collected, where his human remains could be collected, and there will probably have already been an autopsy done on him by that stage. But the sort of conclusions, and if there were violence suspected, that would probably be covered up by the Russian state autopsy, and even bringing a case about prison violence would be very difficult to do in the present climate. However, what about a funeral? Anybody attending that funeral would effectively be in danger of endorsing what Russia would call political propaganda, extremism. And there's a law going through the Russian parliament, the Russian Duma at the moment, prohibiting propaganda and the justification of extremist ideology. And it's a sort of cover-all. It hasn't gone through completely. It hasn't yet had a second reading. So at the moment it isn't law. There is a Criminal Code Article 205.2 where public calls for terrorist activity, public justification of terrorism or propaganda of terrorism is prohibited. But this would be a further law to stop the propaganda or the spreading of extremist ideology. And Mr. Navalny was accused of being an extremist ideologue. So the promotion and justification of extremist ideology, this was a law which was begun in 2023, will be an amendment to Article 280 of the Russian Criminal Code, and it will provide a modest fine or 5 years in prison. Now, the problem is that Russia has a habit at the moment of prosecuting people with sort of retrospectively enacted laws. So people who are already laying flowers on impromptu memorial sites are taking a risk in Russia today. The law will ban the dissemination of information aimed at informing a person about an extremist ideology, conviction in its attractiveness, or the idea of the admissibility of extremist activities. Russian legal language is extremely verbose. In other words, it will criminalize journalism. And as I say, RT says that Navalny died of a detached blood clot. To question that and to support the family at the funeral would be to support an extremist. And observers have noted the oddity surrounding Navalny's death. The speed with which paramedics arrived at the prison, they arrived within 10 minutes. They are obliged to arrive within 20 minutes, but 10 minutes to a prison, this is extraordinary. It suggests a prearranged, staged, natural death. And when Kremlin insiders were asked about this, they said, well, he wasn't killed purposely, but did you expect anything else? It was bound to happen sooner or later. He knew what he was getting into, they say, when he returned to Russia in 2021, and that he was punished for working against the country, but punished and punished and punished, and spending so much time, so much so that he claimed in his last message that he was pushing the record books, so much time in solitary confinement. For what? He'd been a marked man for years. He knew what that was like. There were at least 8 FSB operatives, or indeed up to 15 operatives with various backgrounds in chemical and biological warfare, well documented, who had been trailing him for years, from 2017 through to his poisoning in 2020, followed relentlessly, and this is detailed in flight records. And the theory goes that the FSB boss, Alexander Bortnikov, could not have acted without the expressed direction of Putin himself. And similarly now, the assassination of Alexei Navalny could not have taken place without the express directive and direction of President Putin or whoever is acting in his name while he's in the freezer. It is absolute.